Music. A beautiful symphony of resonating frequencies in a sequence of patterns. Its connection with the human mind is so strong, music is used in the rehab of stroke victims and people battling Alzheimer's. You know when your mind can't get rid of a song and it plays in your head all day? Needless to say, music is a pillar of the human experience. And I think it's due time I make some, considering a YouTube channel. You know, don't want to get copyright striked. DITry is a series where I perform or attempt to perform a task or an objective or make a product. And it doesn't really box me in to one category. So I thought before starting this, how am I going to incorporate all my passions and various interests and expensive-ish hobbies and into this endeavor? And I think DITry is the answer. So without further ado, here's my attempt at making some music. Now, the typical route for making music is using a software like FL Studio, Ableton, or GarageBand, something like that. And then you digitally create sounds, arrange them in an order, and then you have a song. Well, I tried that, and it went horribly. So if I'm not going to use these softwares, what am I going to use? Well, this is the Pocket Operator 33 Knockout by Teenage Engineering. It's an 8-bit sequencer, sampler, or beat machine or jam machine, some might call it, that radiates character. This started when I was, down a nice little YouTube rabbit hole. Recently, I've been going down the YouTube rabbit holes of analog and kind of retro tech stuff that's a little bit timeless. Examples include CRT TVs, old audio engineering and equipment such as tape decks, vinyls, cassettes, CDs even. There's different categories to it. And I just find nowadays something like that feels so much more tangible than a always connected online, something like that. So when I stumbled across an OP1 video, which is a synthesizer made by Teenage Engineering, and the design language was just gorgeous. The display had all these mesmerizing different things per whatever you were in, and whoever was making the beat just absolutely cooked. It just sounded amazing. I was just mesmerized by the process. And then I go, oh, maybe I can afford one of these. Maybe this will be the start of my music making journey. Looked at the price tag and it was $1,000 US, I'm pretty sure. So that was out of my ballpark for a dabble into a hobby, if you will. And then I found out they made these. So this is me opening it for the first time and giving it a try. Okay, this is editing me in the studio. That might have been a little bit of a white lie because I actually took this out to drop my sister off when I had to drive her somewhere. And so I actually cooked a little bit while I was in that waiting room trying out the process of making a beat on this thing so I didn't embarrass myself. And if you can recognize this is actually the beat from the end of my very first video. Pretty groovy. And then if you can see here, I'm using the effects pedals. That's where the beat machine part of this comes in. A little bit of live performance. Sounds coming out of this thing are really cool.
Okay. Let's see what we can make fresh for the camera, though. So first you start with a sound, and that's what I'm going through here. Going through a sound bank, trying to find something to maybe lay down a melody. Here you can adjust pitch, volume of each note. Just kind of going with what feels nice. There we go. Right now I'm just live improvising a pattern, something that sounds good. And here you can see the sequencer moving through time. And that's me playing it live. I goofed a little bit, so let's try that again. It's a new device to me, so hitting the keys properly is still a bit of a challenge. One thing I didn't show is actually that this pocket operator, if you can see the microphone in the top right corner, can record samples and chop those up and use those. But I just wanted to get familiar with the device first before I moved on to a little bit more complicated things like that. So there'll be no sample chopping in this video. This is just me getting used to this device and making a beat. And here we can hear I messed up the timing of that a little bit, so I'm just going to clear that pattern. We're going to run that back. And here I'm just kind of going through some drum kits just to see what would pair well with this very simple pattern we've laid down. Part of this process is just kind of experimenting, see what works, what doesn't, what sounds good. Like I said, I don't have too much music theory, so it's kind of just a feel. That sounds nice. Now you can see that the pattern is stuck as I played it live. You can lay down a pattern individually or play the beat live, which for someone like me, it works a little bit better. Just finding a nice snare to pair with it. Here we're gonna just turn up some swing just so it's a little bit offbeat and sounds a little bit better. That's better. It's groovier. There's a kick. It's a nice kick. Here's me just experimenting with some effects pedals, seeing what would sound good in the song. So now I'm actually going to switch over to a new pattern set and copy over the existing pattern to pattern 4. And I was working in pattern 3, so I can add some variations on the song, similar to what you heard in my very first one that played at the beginning of this overhead shot. Make sure we're on pattern 4 here. And as you can see, this is the pattern layout. So if I were to do it mathematically, this is when the beats would hit per which sound we're on. So we're on the drum kit, we're on another drum kit, and this has the kick, I believe, the kick drum, or a snare, excuse me. So I think yeah, we're gonna get rid of those, and that'll sound better on a fourth pattern. There we go. So we're gonna play pattern 3 times, and then play pattern 4. Oops, it looks like I may have cleared the wrong pattern. So we'll just have to build that again from scratch. Or just repattern it. That works better. So now we have the drum with the melody over top, the repeating melody. And then nothing. Melodically, at least. It's a nice little repeating pattern. But I think we can spice it up, and that's what this device is really good at. Giving all types of crazy sounds with this 15 effects that are loaded on. I didn't realize I was actually recording that pattern in, so this 16th effect actually clears any if you accidentally put some on your song. So that's just what I'm doing here, just making sure both pattern 4 and 3 are clear of any effects. That sounds nice. I might actually add that to the song. It's really fun and rewarding jamming out on this thing, I'm not gonna lie. Here I am recording that into pattern 3, so then that will repeat on the 4th time every pattern loop, if you will. Now we're going to turn the recording off, so any effects I jam on right now aren't permanently added to the song. I can't wait till I get a little more experience with this and synthesize some interesting patterns together along with the FX. And that's my first song on camera with a Pocket Operator 33 Knockout Edition. Love this thing.